Hi, and we're live with Saga Live skill development session, day number, I believe, 6. It could be 5, it could be 6, it could be 7, but we believe it's 6.
If you know otherwise, correct us.
Let us know in the comments. We're rolling the camera just a bit early because, as always, we just want to give people a chance to join us before we get started so that we can go from 7 to 8 as best as we can. Yes. So if you're already on the platform, if you're already in the chat, we're really happy to have you here. We're again trying out new things with the microphone. Hopefully we'll have even better gear by our next session.
Very soon.
We've got producer Brett rocking the camera and checking the comments for us back in the background. Abra and I are here tonight, and we've got a lot of fun curriculum planned. Our goal tonight is to really start taking a lot of the basics that we have and bringing them into the intermediate level. There is certainly a lot more that we could be doing, but our goal here right now is just to start giving you a more complete sort of idea of where we're taking things. If you're already a high-level martial artist, you're going to be able to see very deep into this and see where a lot of this is going to go. Again, our methodology kind of comes from the idea that what we're trying to do is we're trying to take people that want to be performing artists and give them martial skills, or we're trying to take martial artists and tweak what they do just a hair to help them perform it even better. So when you see something like the S-Series kickboxing style, it really is about extension, hip, foot pivot, and making sure that you cross the plane of the body so that you get those nice Captain America style punches and kicks. And then of course with the stick setups, we simplified everything down in our Saga 9 weapons template from the usual 12 angles or more that you'll get in a Filipino martial arts template down to about just 9 basic angles for you to build off of. And they pretty much map to a compass rose. You just have to know which side you're coming from in order to do it.
We like 9s.
We like 9s. There's a lot of 9s in what we do. So once we get right to about 7 o'clock, 3 minutes until we get to 7 o'clock, then we'll get started with our top-down check-in and flow, and then we'll take it to the next level with action flow techniques. We've got some fun stuff planned that builds on some previous stuff, and then we'll go straight through the rest of the curriculum and hopefully wrap everything up right before 8 so that we can take your questions and give you some answers at the end of the show.
Indeed.
Indeedly doodly. So who do we have joining us so far?
We have a Joy.
Oh, hey Joy! Hi Joy!
Hi Joy!
And Brian liked it. He may or may not be here.
Well, Brian, if you can jump in, feel free to. If you need to take a break or anything like that, we know you're hard at work teaching all the rest of the internet when we're not. We're going in shifts. We made sure part of the reason why we wanted to do Tuesday, Thursdays is we were avoiding clashing with some of our teachers who are also teaching their own curriculum classes. I believe Brian is teaching...
He's doing Silat, Filipino martial arts, Jeet Kune Do, and Wing Chun.
And on Monday, that's the Wing Chun followed by the Jeet Kune Do, and that starts at, I believe, 5.
5 for adults, yes.
And then on Wednesday, it's the Silat and the Filipino martial arts.
I believe so, yes.
Again at 5. And then another friend of ours, Sifu J.B. Yeager of Maryland Jeet Kune Do Academy, is teaching his classes Mondays and Wednesdays.
Mondays and Wednesdays at 7 o'clock.
At 7 o'clock, so we definitely didn't want to clash with that. The rest of our schedule is staying more or less the same. Morning routines every day until a 10th day happens, in which case it's up to you. Those will be at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. And Abra's hero conditioning workouts, which are every Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Every Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
At
1 o'clock.
At 1 p.m., not 1 a.m.
Granted, if you want to do it at 1 a.m., I'm not going to
You can go onto our YouTube channel, watch them in HD at 1 a.m. in the morning if that's what you want to do.
I've done workouts at 1 a.m.
How are we coming in? How's the sound today, everybody?
Let us know if you can hear us. Let us know if you can hear us too well.
Somebody typed something.
Brian did.
What? Okay, I'm going to read. We're going to try and read this. We had an epic day of cleaning up around here. I'm going to share your class, but click off in a few moments. Keep up the good work. Thank you for the shout out to my classes. You both rock. Well, you rock, because if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't have been able to plant our feet right here in New York. Way back when you invited us to the first ever annual New York City Kali Symposium back in November, I think it was?
I believe so.
In which we were very fortunate to get to demo the Saga 9 weapons template alongside many high-level teachers from the New York City Kali Filipino martial arts sort of community. Yeah, community. That word that I love using so much.
Sometimes your mind just draws blanks.
Brian, I had a moment of dysnomia. He'll know what that means.
Yes, he does. I mean, I know what it means.
I know, but he gave me the word. Bird is the word.
No, it's not.
No.
We're gonna do our.
It's 7:01. So
start.
if you're out there and you're ready to go, let's start with a top-down check-in and flow.
Rhyme. Okay.
And your head goes round. Whatever you need to do for your head and neck, you can go slow as you like. Don't really recommend starting fast. If you're going to be selling hits, which we will get into once we start really breaking down the choreography side of things, you're going to be snapping your neck a lot. So you need to warm it up from the base to the tippy top. So whatever works for you. You can push on the jaw, you can push on the top of the head, you can pull, you can grab at the bottom. I like to make sure that I'm pushing the base of my neck up, not just tucking my chin down tightly. When you're done with that, go into your shoulders. Start by just rolling them around however you need to, whether that's forwards or backwards, whether that's big circles up and down, whether that's side to side, one at a time. If you want to do this, what's up? What's up?
What's up?
What's up? What's up?
You
Okay.
can really dance.
I can dance for that. All right, arms go around. If you want to, you can do little Iron Man repulsors, pushing out through the palms, trying to hold that trash compactor open as hard as you can while also wax on and wax offing it.
Doing a lot of things at once.
Crane's beaks, also to stretch through the shoulders and the forearms. Cross your arms in front of your body. Again, if there's something else that you prefer to do for your warm-up, you may do it. All right, and just shake that out. Go into the chest. Start moving from the waist up. Oh, don't lose your balance.
Not yet.
Go around and around and around and around. Go to the side. Go to the side.
Brian has subscribed and left the link for people to subscribe.
Oh, thank you, Brian. That's so sweet of you. Is that the link to his page or the link to our page?
I'm assuming it's not
on YouTube.
Awesome. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you, Brian.
Go into your hips. Get your hips moving. All right. Do some toe touches. Because if you want to, you can. If you don't want to, you don't have to. And now again, I'm going to do my little skiing move. I go down and I shove my butt out. I come up and I push my hips forward. Down and out, up, hips forward. It's like I'm twerking, and now it's like I'm hip thrusting. Twerk and thrust those hips. Twerk and thrust those hips.
We're not working.
Wait. I can't twerk. It's not my skill set. I'm not thick enough.
Okay, moving on.
Knees. Get those knees going. Again, if we ever were to try and take ourselves too seriously, this would go horribly worse. I'd say wrong, but whatever you need to do for your knees. And then I like to do my little knee squats. So all I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to bend through the feet, stretching out the ankles and the shins too. All right, kick around a little bit, whatever works for you. Let's bounce up on the calves. Nice little martial athletics sort of move, a little Muhammad Ali kind of shuffle, or Bruce Lee kind of shuffle. But make sure that while you're warming them up, you're pushing all the way into the ground. You are letting yourself come up a little bit bouncy, but when you're actually fighting, you want to stay low and stuck to the ground as best as you can. All right, let's do some flow. Aubrey, why don't you do something to flow around? You don't have to roll, obviously, because we're not putting the mat down today.
Yes, indeed. So what am I going to do to flow?
You can do crawls, you
I
can do
can.
sweeps,
I
you can
can.
do whatever works for you. Do something.
I will do something.
Just don't hurt yourself.
Well, we'll see. Just gonna crawl.
A little bit of a move natty hand-foot crawl. I'm going to do kind of a Spider-Man / lizard crawl. All right, you go back your way. Or just walk over there.
Just walk over there.
Go on, go on, go on.
I'll do some gorillas.
Oh, I was going to do those. I'm going to do some
Too
side
bad.
apes. Reaching and going. Your turn.
I'm gonna do some rear ones.
Oh, rear ones. Rear. Okay. Very creative. I'm going to do some sweeping feet motions.
Ooh.
Coming back around the other way. Little breakdance stuff. Again, just push off of the ground using your arms and your feet, however works best for you.
Yeah.
Do something for yourself.
I'm gonna do a cartwheel.
You're going to throw a cartwheel?
Yeah.
throw a cartwheel. Very nice. All right. And then if you want to kick a little bit lower, come up, whatever works best, start just moving around. A little savate, a little boxing, shadow box for a second, get into your body. Aubrey, why don't you just do a little shadow boxing for a second? Now, when you're doing this for this flow sort of warm-up, try and throw some slow extension into it.
I'm not good at this stuff.
I know, do your stunt stuff. See, the advantage of the stunt style stuff is that if you throw that length and extension and that full body kind of commitment behind it for your flow, you're going to work out every little kink along the way, as opposed to staying super duper tight when you're warming up. That'll happen eventually. All right, we're going to move on. Let's get into our action flow curriculum for today. When we last met our heroes, we were focusing on building combos that involved a kick to a cartwheel. Now we're going to talk about adding a third element to it. We're going to add a sweep, either at the beginning or the end, depending on what works for you. If these moves are a little challenging for you, that's A-okay. Do your best. If the best thing that you've got for your cartwheel is to put your hands on the ground and jump,
Do it.
totally good. We're just working on getting your hands down and jumping across the line a little bit. So Abra, why don't you show us a kick to a cartwheel? No need to sweep just yet.
No sweep. All right. Let's do something real simple. Front kick, plant down, and cartwheel.
So what you're saying is that you're front kicking, coming down, and that was the worst cartwheel I've ever done. That was my look what I can do. How did you do that? How did you do that right?
Front kick, and right now I'm just landing again on my left, and I'm going over my left.
So front kick, I'm landing on my right, and now I'm going for my cartwheel.
Yeah.
So I think there's a way that you need to do that, because when I tried to do it on the other side and still face the camera, it didn't work. Which, knowing how you're going to orient for the camera is a big part of this. Okay, so let's do a couple more of these together. I'm going to do a hook kick, place it down, and go for my cartwheel.
All right, well, I'm going to do a crescent kick. Place it, and go.
All right, I'm going to do a spin to a roundhouse kick, and I kind of half twist it into my cartwheel. Let's see what you can do.
So fancy. Not going to go that fancy. I'll do a round kick, spin around,
And throw yourself into the cartwheel.
and throw myself into the cartwheel, which is also a bad cartwheel.
No, actually, I thought that looked pretty good. So the big point here is that you can take any move that you're thinking of and just try and move into the next move. Find those transitions. We're not teaching a hardcore curriculum with the action flow. Believe me, I've tried to break it down as one. What it really comes down to is, from a position that you're in, can you fire another move, and how? So if Abra teaches us real quick, a little bit of a refresher on a sweep, and she's going to do it on concrete as best as she can without hurting her knee.
Yes, I am.
But that's going to require her to go slow and smooth.
I will go slow and smooth.
All right.
What I'm going to do is, let's say that right now I'm in a left.
If you have a mat at home, use your mat at home.
Please use your mat at home, or knee pads, or whatever you
Carpet,
need.
something.
Yes. I'm going to stand right now on my left lead. I'm going to take my front leg, which is my left leg, put it at this little angle.
It's like a 45.
At a 45, basically, yeah. I'm going to lower down onto my knee, plant my hand, look over my right shoulder, and swing my leg.
And notice how she spins on her base leg so that she can come back up. So do that again, super duper slow. Get to the ground as slow as possible so we don't have to hear any thudding.
Yes.
That's nice. Twist all the way. Twist all the way towards the camera.
Ah, where am I? Okay.
Twist, twist, twist. Look over your shoulder. There you are. Now fire the kick. Boom, it comes through, and her base leg can spin on the ground. So if I was to do that going the other way, I'd step across with my right leg, lower that to the ground. Now I'm in kind of like this kneel position on the ground. I'm placing my hand over, I kick through, and I either put it here onto the ground behind me, swing my leg through and come up, or we have a little base position that we can get into. This base position is kind of like a three-point base. It's like a low capoeira style posture. I'm going to lower to the ground, base my hand, kick through, and then extend out. So this leg's bent and this leg's extended. From this position, I also have my hand up in a guard. If I want to come up with something, I can place this foot down into the ground, dig in a little bit, pop my hips up and kick, and come back down, or I can swing it back through into a kind of technical, tactical tripod get up, a T get up. We're just going to start calling them T get ups.
Yeah, they're all T's.
And get up from there. So Abra, one more time with the sweep, and then we're going to add the cartwheel and the kick at the beginning.
All right.
She lowers herself to the ground, she turns and spots, she opens up through the hips all the way in, she fires her returning kick and gets back up. And I'm going to do it one more time going this way. I lower myself to the ground, kick through. I like to really go into this position because I got these really big long legs.
Yes, you do.
Push myself up, kick up, and come back up. I always play with these really goofy karate guards for some reason, even though I'm not a karateka, but it works for me.
You've done some karate.
Yeah, when I was 7, and then I did some kempo. Lastly, here's what we're going to do. We're going to combine the kick at the beginning with the sweep at the end with the cartwheel in the middle. This is going to take up a lot of space. You need to go through this type of curriculum slowly. So when you're playing around with it on your own, don't try and rush it. You want to actually make this flow, so feel it out beat by beat. Abra's going to create her first combo. I suppose you want to go off that front kick?
I could, yeah.
Let's do it off of that front kick that you were doing.
All right, I'm going to do it off the front kick.
Go into your cartwheel.
Cartwheel. And then from here, my left leg's actually going to be, no, it always in my left leg, now that I think about it. And then I'm going to come through and sweep.
All right, so now repeat that again and try and make it all feel connected. Try and build that flow. Don't go fast, go smooth.
Yes, please.
Front kick to a cartwheel, lowers herself to the ground, and she's actually twisting out the other way, which you absolutely can do. Can you fire the sweep the other way this time?
I'm not using my other leg.
Yes, except do everything else the same. Try and find which position you need to change it up. Boom, that's the same. And that's the same.
And what you're saying is go.
So instead of lowering yourself this way, lower yourself that way.
Okay.
Mm.
No?
No, I think that was right. And look, you got into a good S sweep.
I thought you were making a noise of disapproval.
I thought, no, it's not disapproval. It's like, oh, I'm surprised. Do that one more time and flow it. And then I'll do mine. Push kick, cartwheel, turning, sweeping back in the direction that she came from. All right, my turn. I'm going to do a hooking kick or a revers lateral, firing that kick, going into my cartwheel, lowering down to the ground, firing my sweep across the front, and coming back up. One more time for me. I start over here. I'm going to spin through to my revers lateral, fire my cartwheel, drop down, swing through, come back up.
One more thing you can do if you want to get super
You got to be
fancy.
way closer to the mic.
If you want to get super fancy.
So one more thing you can do if you want to get super fancy.
You can do your kick, do your cartwheel, do a different kind of kick and let that place your leg, and then go into the sweep.
Yeah, so it's just about taking building blocks and putting them together.
Connecting them.
Absolutely, most of you out there can figure this out. I just want to let you know that as somebody that came up through a lot of traditional martial arts, the goal was usually to follow the form. The goal here is really to take the techniques and start building them up and breaking them down. So if you remember when we were doing the different types of cartwheels in the last session, there was the one where I could do like my ninjutsu cartwheel, where I kind of dive roll forward, and now I'm already low. Now I could easily go back into my front sweep and come back up. Did I go that way?
Yes.
So I do my dive roll cartwheel, do my front sweep, and come back up. You had a thought? Come over here and talk into the microphone.
My thought was more so, I feel like what you were asking me to do before was the front sweep, not the back sweep, and that's why there was confusion.
No, it's whichever.
Okay.
No, I wanted you to do another rear sweep.
Okay.
We haven't really taught the front sweep as much yet. We might have touched on it before. Front sweep is a little bit more complicated for me. I know it's not as hard for you.
No, the front sweep is much more difficult for me than the
So
back.
you send in your videos of you doing a front sweep better than the both of us combined, and we'll be happy to watch it and share it.
Jonathan Pang is in, so I'm sure he can.
Absolutely. All right. Let's just call that it for today's action flow section. Let's just move right along. How are we at for time? What time is it?
7:15.
7:15. We are really moving along.
Yes, we are.
Abra and I are both going to, well, I'll start with the mitts. We're going to review the S-Series kickboxing template, long range. So once Abra has her gloves on.
Patient, you know.
What are you, wrapping your hands? Come on. All right. Once Abra's got her gloves on, take a step back, please. She's going to do number 1, which is
Jab, rear kick.
So 1,
jab, rear kick.
1,
Jab, rear kick.
and 1.
Jab, rear kick.
Follow along at home. Number 2,
Cross, knee kick.
2,
Cross, knee kick.
2,
Cross, knee kick.
and 2.
Cross, knee kick.
Awesome. Number 3,
Rear kick, jab.
number 3,
Rear kick, jab.
and number 3.
Rear kick, jab.
Number 4,
Knee kick, cross.
4,
Knee kick, cross.
and 4.
Knee kick, cross.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Number 5,
Jab, knee kick.
5,
Jab, knee kick.
and 5.
Jab, knee kick.
And again, if you don't have someone at home to hold mitts for you, just shadow box, do these in the air, or if you want, punch a wall or a punching bag, just obviously don't hurt yourself.
Wall lightly.
Wall lightly. Number 6,
Cross, rear kick. Cross, rear kick. Oh, rear
cross. 6,
kick.
Number 6.
Cross, rear kick.
6.
Cross, rear kick.
So this is the fun part. We're halfway through the template of the S series, the series. Abra goes back to her stance. 1. Did I say stop calling them out?
No.
1,
Jab, rear kick.
3.
Rear kick, jab.
So you can just start calling the numbers once you're comfortable with them. It even took us a while to get comfortable with our own numbers, but if I say 4,
Knee kick, cross. That was not 4. Guess it was 4.
yeah, it was. That's why you got it. Number 5.
Jab, knee kick.
Number 6.
Cross, rear kick.
Number 6.
Cross, rear kick. Got you.
What?
Yes.
You've been doing it?
Wait, no, that was right. See, now we just get confused. I
Get
get
out of your head
Sorry.
and into the camera. 7.
Knee kick, jab.
So 7 is,
Knee kick, jab.
say nice and loud for the camera.
Knee kick, jab.
There we are.
Let me tie my shoe. I just untied it. Hold on.
Holy cow, woman! I'm gonna get you Velcro shoes.
No, you're not.
Number 8.
Rear kick, hook, cross.
So 8 is the first time we introduce the lead hook. We just say hook in the context of this combo. So 8 is,
Rear kick, hook, cross.
8 is,
Rear kick, hook, cross.
good. 9 is the second time we introduce the lead hook, but we do it after the cross. 9,
Knee kick, cross, hook.
9,
Knee kick, cross, hook.
and 9.
Knee kick, cross, hook.
Now we're going to run the whole series by the numbers. Ready?
Yes.
1,
Jab, rear kick,
2,
cross, knee kick.
take a step back. 3,
Rear kick, jab.
number 4,
Knee kick, cross.
number 5,
Jab, knee kick,
number 6,
cross, rear kick.
number 7,
Knee kick, jab.
number 8,
Rear kick, hook, cross.
and number 9.
Knee kick, cross, hook.
One more time. Ready?
Yep.
1,
Jab, rear kick,
2,
cross, knee kick.
3,
Rear kick, jab.
3.
Rear kick, jab.
Sometimes the mid holder gets it wrong. 4,
Sometimes. Knee kick, cross.
number 5,
Jab, knee kick,
number 6,
cross, rear kick.
number 7,
Knee kick, jab.
number 8,
Rear kick,
number 8,
rear kick, hook, cross.
and number 9.
Knee kick, cross, hook.
So if you go through this whole series, you're basically working all tools in all sequences that are possible. Plus 9 has this little cherry on top feeling where we just add a reflection to number 8. We're going to put my gloves on, and we're going to go through the defenses 1 through 7. We're going to try and get through this very quickly. I think we saved a little bit of time
Yeah.
during our action flow sequence, so if we need to go a little bit longer on this one, hopefully we'll be okay. But Brett's giving me that sideways sort of side-eye glance.
Which we love him for it.
See how fast I can put on my gloves. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. Working on it. My gloves are more complicated than yours. That's not true.
No, it's not.
All right, cool. So now Abra is going to feed me the attacks again, just so that we keep everything the same. I'm going to do the defenses. What I'm going to do in this case is I'm going to call out what the defenses are. She's going to call out the number of the combo. So I'm learning the same combo, but on the defense side not on the offense side.
I'm aiming for true targets.
So when she's saying true target, her jab goes to my head, her cross goes to my head, her kick goes to my rib cage, hip, kidney, whatever. I guess, well, if it's your kidney, you're reaching really
You're
far
going.
behind.
I mean, you might have really long legs.
Her rear kick is also going to my rib cage, stomach, whatever is going to land if I don't do something. We have ways of protecting ourselves during these moves that involve both moving out of the way and protecting ourselves. You can always use one or the other, but we train to use both at once.
And always tighten your core.
Always brace the core. So if Abra throws that jab,
The one.
I can catch just the jab through real quick and move my head off the line, or I can just catch and move back, or I can just move my head off the line. Those are all things that you can do to play with it. Those are the different elements, but when we do the catch, we also do the head movement. When she throws her cross, I can outside parry and move my body off the line. I can move my head off the line, or I can just outside parry and just move back a little bit. It all depends on the context of the choreography. But if you want to work it for just the full technique, she throws a cross and I move off the line as we go. When she throws the rear leg kick, I can block and move off the line, or I can block, or I can just move off the line and maybe get tagged in the stomach, which is still going to suck, but at least it's my stomach and not my rib cage. Not the best bet ever, but if it's something you're good at taking, maybe you're going to condition yourself. I don't know.
Also move and hike back in fury.
And now on the left side, it's the exact same technique. So I mean on the lead side, when she throws that, I can block and move off to the side. I can just block, or I can just move off to the side, take it to the stomach, which again will suck, but it's better than getting cracked in the rib cage because we have muscle here and we just really have a lot of bone here. Bony.
Let's do this.
All right,
Shall we?
let's do this. So, Abra's going to call the number.
1,
Catch, block.
2,
Parry, block.
3,
Block, catch,
4,
block, parry,
5.
block, or I'm sorry, do 5 again.
No, 5.
Catch, block. And 6,
6.
parry, block. And 7,
7.
block, catch. So now we're going to go 1 through 4 one more time, and then we're going to break down 5, 6, and 7 very briefly.
1,
Catch, block,
2,
parry, block,
3,
block, catch,
4.
block, parry. Those are
Contralateral.
contralateral combinations. Thank you. I had a moment of dysnomia, Brian. Those are contralateral. 5, 6, and 7 are ipsilateral. So contralateral is going from one side to the other. Ipsilateral is staying on the same side. If Abra throws number 5, which is jab, to the lead kick, it's not going to be so much about me moving off to the side. In this case, it's going to be about me moving back a little bit because she's extending her attack towards me, and I'm responding to that extension by going back. So she fills the space, and I give her the space to keep that extension, which is going to help with choreography, but it's also going to keep my range awareness depending on what I'm trying to do in my kickboxing context.
And I'm trying just to run him down.
She's trying to run me down. If you watch her footwork on her 5,
Oh, my bad.
if you watch her footwork on her 5, she's skip kicking into it. For 6, she's going to throw that cross, and then she's going to throw that rear kick. What you'll notice that's really cool for the training in this is that when I parry that cross, I'm now right in line for her rear kick. I've made a mistake because she's loaded and ready to go with like a Muay Thai roundhouse kick or something. In this case, it's a longer range fouette to the rib cage, which will still suck a lot, especially if she's wearing a steel-toed boot.
Oh, not too bad.
But because my body is framed this way, the only way for me to block and move off the line of this one is to twist all the way back around, so she fires the kick. And now we get that little bit of Jackie Chan drama in the fight. So she fires that cross, and then she fires that kick. So call it out.
6,
Parry, block.
6.
Parry, block. I get a lot of footwork out of it, which is really great training for me because I'm now working on my lateral movement in defense. Finally, number 7, the last ipsilateral combo in the sequence. Well, purely ipsilateral, I believe.
Yes.
No, it should be the last ipso.
Yeah, because the other ones are contra.
Yeah, the other ones are contra. 7, she fires that lead leg kick and I block it, and then she fires that jab and I catch parry it. This is important. Just like 5, it's about extension. When she's throwing that kick, she's really coming into my line. When she fires that punch, we're not extending very far out at that point. So now, with her front leg kick, I'm moving way back and she's landing and she's trying to hit me in that face.
I'm falling into it.
In that face.
In that face.
She's falling into the jab. So she fires that lead leg kick, I have to really move my head off the line for that one. Even if I skip way back on the kick, I really got to move my head off the line. So those are the defenses for combos 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Watch them in this video. We will run through all of them in the next one, and then we'll add the defenses for 8 and 9.
Yes, we will.
Let's move on from the S series.
All right.
Striking arts are done. Let's go into weapons. See how long it takes for us to
Take off our gloves.
take off our gloves. One of the reasons we like MMA gloves is because if we're in a class context, we can just do all of our stick fighting with the gloves still on. I really recommend these Everlast MMA gloves that are also made for the bag. They're a little thick, but they give you plenty of dexterity. Even your thumb can move, but the padding is there that you're able to protect your partner and your hand.
For pure MMA gloves, I do like my combat sports gloves. They have a bit more padding than other MMA gloves too. Granted, they're still not quite as padded as those gloves, but I like these too.
So real quick, before we get started on our stick work, I would just like to do a shout out to SNR Tactical, who we have purchased these amazing extendable batons from. They are made out of plastic, but they are nice and sturdy, and they have that same whippy feeling, but they're a little bit lighter. I believe these are made as trainers for training. I'm sure it would still suck to get hit in the face with one of them, but they are really cool. They do extend and they do go back in. I'm not going to shove them back in right now because that takes a couple of seconds. But Abra and I are going to perform the 9 strikes from the stick fighting template with these in our hands, just so you can see us doing the same type of movements with a slightly different apparatus.
SNR Tactical.
So Abra, if you can provide your connect pose.
Yes, I can.
I'm going to go right for facing the camera. Prep. We're going to go angles 1 through 9 all the way through. I hope you've been practicing since the last lesson. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's do it 2 more times. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. One last time. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So as you can see, we get to do all these beautiful strikes. Doesn't matter what weapon we have in our hand. Even if I did punch this down back into this position and I held it upside down, I could still do the same pattern similar to the knife, but now I've got my fist load. Or I could hold the tab, hit with the thrusting to the butt of the weapon, and then when I want to, bring it out and go for those longer strikes. It's also funny that if I poke someone with this, if their stomach is strong enough to actually shove it back in.
I mean,
we're working on it.
I'm not concrete.
Yes, you are. Your shins are.
Well, try my shins.
Moving along, we're going to put these back because now we're going to go into the defenses for our Saga 9 stick fighting template. And I don't really want to risk hitting those things together just a day after I got them. Plus the sticks are a little bit more solid all the way through, so we're less likely to miss each other because Abra and I haven't worked with a canonical weapon like that. Canonical.
I was going to say canonical.
Well, it's part of somebody's canon, I'm sure. But the point is that it tapers down, which means that the blocking is going to be a little bit different than what you would be doing with a stick that's less tapered.
And those are also a bit lighter. They're a bit lighter and they're also a bit shorter than our sticks that we have right now.
So we just got them the other day. We're going to prep and train with them, and then hopefully we'll be able to show that off a little bit on the next video.
Definitely.
For today, we're going to start with angles 1, 2, 3, and 4, which are matched blocks. So all that means is that we're aiming for the same line, 2, 3, 4, and that's never changing. We do have blocks for 1, 2, 3, and 4 that are more defensive than that, but for right now, we're just aiming for true target and meeting the sticks in the middle with skate cuts similar to what you would find in stage combat. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, Abra wanted to explain how you can take these matched cuts where it looks like we're doing the exact same thing towards each other, which is stylistic in some choreography if you want to make your characters look like they're on an even keel. But if you want to start creating a little bit of a story, what can you do to take matched angle cuts and create a winner and a loser, or an offense and a defense in the situation?
You can add in a drive. By this I mean one person is pushing forward and one person is being pushed back.
So basically, one of us is the tractor trailer to the truck, but probably in reverse. Or the boulder that's being pushed by the steamroller. Wait, that's not how steamrollers work. Bulldozer. You get the idea.
One person's attacking forward, one person is defending backwards.
So Abra, would you like to lead some of this for us?
Sure.
So Abra's going to pull me into her space, and as she goes through the combo, I just use whatever footwork to stay out of the way. Notice how we missed on the third beat, but we kept going because no one called cut.
That's going to happen sometimes.
So do it again.
Yep.
Ready, and good. And now look like you're trying to kill me, but don't actually try to kill me. Same lines, a little bit of acting. Who's got what on the face is going to change it up drastically. It does not matter if she fires this cut and she's horizontal and I'm a vertical. At speed, that's not relevant. At speed, what's important is that I look like something's happening and I'm pulling my body out of the way. We can have the exact same matched angle. It doesn't make a difference. She's attacking and I'm defending. And when it's a blunt weapon like a stick, believe me, that's what you want in front of you is the blunt weapon, not any other part of your body. So if she throws that, I'm not trying to do fort de foible with this weapon. It's not going to look right for her to do fort de foible. We need to be in this kind of more pockety fighting. All right. And I think we had one more point on that, but oh, right. We can also, of course, do this on the circle. So as long as my movement is in a retreat versus in opposition to hers, we can still kind of curve the bullet and make it look like she's attacking me. So if I were to start over here and she attacks 1, 2, 3, 4, she's obviously chasing me down if she puts that into her acting. So she goes for the attack, and I'm putting the defense into my acting. It's a great way to start. So if you're a Filipino martial artist and you're wondering how to start converting what you're doing into choreography, it's all up here and it's all down here. And your body's going to follow. But those lines that we've agreed on and consented to are what's going to make it safe. It has nothing to do with technically range awareness because we're aiming for true target. It has everything to do with agreeing that the lines that we're going to strike on are the same lines for now. That isn't to say that we can't unmatch the lines, but that's much higher level stuff, and we're going to start here. Now, I'm going to take everything I've said about lines being vertical and horizontal and throwing out the whole stage combat old school paradigm, and I'm going to throw out my own words and beat them again.
Delicious.
Because in order to block angles 5 and 6, we are not doing match strikes. If Abra was to swing angle 5 and I was to swing angle 5, this would be a really crappy way to block a strike. And she just won.
I mean, you could take my elbow though too.
No, I think your elbow's too low for me. So when she fires that horizontal strike to my hip, the best way for me to block that is to go for a vertical line in this case. There's no diagonal here, so there's no X to be matched on. So instead, I'm going to cross it. So this is much more of a cross shape rather than an X shape. And that kind of has to do with the orientation of the wrist. Her wrist is supinated, and my wrist, I guess, is pronated in some way. I don't know, it's turned over. But my tip's pointing down. So for the angle 5 strike, and we're just going to pause in the middle, I'm turning my wrist over, looking at this wristwatch. In Filipino martial arts, a lot of people like to call this a low wing or a wing block. In stage combat, sometimes it's called a bell climber sort of parry. I know there's a number for it in the SAP. I'm not going to remember it right now. She can also skate all the way through. So when she fires that cut, boom, she goes all the way through. I maintain my defensive posture. She continues through to prep for the next line. Don't fire it yet, but do 5. Ready? I block. So now, if she flipped her stick over and got ready to fire her 6, the target could be my ribcage, my elbow, my head, whatever. It's a horizontal line smashing into me. In order for me to counter this, yes, I absolutely could just bell clang her back the other way, and there's nothing wrong with that. But for our system, we wanted to come up with something a little bit more stylistic, and in my opinion, it's just a hair bit more practical. She fires the angle 5, and she comes through. When she fires the angle split, when she fires the angle 6, I just flip my wrist over and block with a shield block from the butt of the weapon to the ground, the tip of it to the sky. It's a nice triangle shape from my torso. It's exactly how we would block if we just wanted to do a high plane block like this. And because she's firing her angle 6 with a pronated hand, it's going to cause her elbow to rise up just a little bit, as opposed to if it's an angle 5, her elbow's down. So the chances of her throwing this one lower require her body to be low. But if she's firing it in the plane of her shoulder, it's going to come up a bit higher. And if I fire it in the plane of my shoulder, it's really going to be higher on her.
Yeah.
Whereas when I fire my 5, I'm not really firing it up here because that's uncomfortable for my shoulder. I'm twisting my hips and throwing it in, and my elbow's kind of near my rib cage. So that's why she's blocking low. I pull it through, I fire my 6, it's closer to her shoulder, and she's blocking with that high block. So if Abra goes 5, 6, low, high.
Do you want me to skate?
No, not yet. Low, high. All I'm just doing this nice little abanico fan move from Filipino martial arts, which just means to fan. I'm literally going from one wrist orientation 180 degrees up to the next. And when I do that, I get a nice little counter force to hit that block with. And if she skates through, now I'm prepped and loaded to fire a counter of my own, while also protecting my zone. We're going to go very briefly into angle 7 and that defense, but we're going to try and plow through it because Brett's saying that we need to wrap it up. Abra throws angle 6. It skates through. Now she buttons to her hip, staples, whatever, and she's going to poke me in the tummy. Pop! From here, I absolutely could roll the wrists over and move that to the side. Choreograph that all you want. It's perfectly fine, especially if you're going into Inasano Sombrada, you know, whether that's your typical one or whether that's your, what is this called, the Puño Sombrada?
Then you would go.
Yeah, something like that. Brian, I'm sorry, I can't remember it right off the top of my head right now.
You definitely choreographed a lot.
Trying to teach my own curriculum. But in this case, what I don't like about that is that if I turn it over like this, A, it takes more time to turn it over outside and put it here because I don't like it.
Okay.
I just don't like it.
You just don't like it.
To turn it over and then bring it across is kind of 2 moves. So that's one of the reasons why I don't want to do it. It doesn't add to the style that we're doing, which is usually evading on the lateral. So what I would rather do is I'd rather move off the line.
Yeah, sorry.
Try not to heat seeker me. And as I move off the line, I drop the tip down to the outside. So I do just the reverse of the previous move. I just fan down to the outside, and my footwork moves me to the lateral. Abra, if you could stand there. She thrusts at my center, and she tags me. She thrusts at my center, and she tags me. She thrusts at my center. I step off the line, and I block. My elbow is up now. And that's okay, because I'm on the outside. So I'm outside of her line. So if she's standing over here, I'm moving away from her, and now I can come in and take whatever I want.
And I'm closed off now.
She's closed off. I'm ready to take her apart. And again, one thing that I like about this is that it adds dynamic movement. Now, what if you don't want to move to the left or right? Well, we have a little wushu move-ish, little wushu-ish move. I've never done wushu, but I love Jet Li movies. Wow, I sound like a tool right now. Abra's going to throw that 7 at me. I'm going to swing my leg back. So it's this little swing leg, especially if my right leg is in my lead. I'm swinging it out and bringing it back, but I'm still also countering with the strike. So I really like this one because it looks very flowy and fancy. It's got almost that little Lacan sort of energy that I really like, where the foot can swing back and you just plant it right back. You can also, of course, swing it in step and hold it and then come back if you'd like, but I like to train to come back. So real quick for the camera, this is the slightly longer section today. Brett, I apologize. Abra, face this way. We're just going to do the defenses so that you can see them. So if someone attacks angle 5, turn the wrist over and block across your body. If you're doing Wing Chun, this is a Bong Sao. For angle 6, flip the stick over. If you're doing Wing Chun and you get your hand out, that's a Ton Sao. And then for angle 7, you either step off to the side or swing the leg through and just parry it down, but bring it back. So don't just hold it here. When your foot comes back, bring it back. Train that cool little swing through. So 5, 6, 7. One more time. 5, 6, 7. And one more time. 5, notice how I'm also pivoting my hips.
Yep.
6, notice how I'm also pivoting my hips. 7. And those are 3 of the defenses. We're going to cover 8 and 9 in the next video.
Yes, we will.
One last thing before we go from this section. We are just going to do all the numbers that we've trained. Abra's going to attack and I'm going to defend. We're just going to stand static. We're not going to do a drive.
Okay.
Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I'll add a little bit of dynamic movement to what you're doing with your Filipino martial arts because we're getting into the footwork and the twisting rather than just blocking with the arm and the stick in isolation. And I think that's it for our Saga 9 weapons template work tonight.
Yes, it is.
Next time we might go back to double sticks. We'll see what comes up. Let us know if there's something specific that you would like to see in the comments. I will take that stick from you.
Thank you.
Very awesome. My napkin dry. Well, I can actually put these up now.
Would you like water?
No. I don't want your germs. We can't share germs. Now we're going to go into knives. I'm going to give Abra the knife. Ah, okay. Are you serious? These fancy plastic knives from SNR Tactical. When you need tactical, choose SNR. I think that's our pitch for them. We're going to go back to the CQC stuff that we've been working for the last few sessions. We're adding the knife in. Now we're going to play with both variations, the slash and the backhand stab. We're going to build this into kind of like a fun John Wickish, Jason Bourne-ish sort of combo where we're mixing Krav Maga elements with a little bit of Filipino martial arts and maybe even some Jeet Kune Do style work. But the goal here is to look like we're blending and blurring from styles for the opportunity to strike. So this is part choreography, but this is also the idea of installing specific attribute styles into your self-defense so that you're not just doing one thing that can become predictable, or you're not just doing one thing that's going to stick to one style of timing. You can crash, you can move in and out, you can evade, and you can also fire a disarm or a counter. So we're going to create a whole chain. If the counter is hard for you to do because you don't have a partner, or if the disarm is hard for you to do because you don't have a partner, do your best to follow along at home, or find a friend and give them a paper tube of some sort to attack you with, like a roll-up magazine, like in Born Supremacy.
Yes, or a paper towel tube, or
paper towel tube,
toilet paper tube.
toilet paper tube, toilet paper. All right.
Pen.
Abra's going to start with the blade tip up in the standard grip. She's going to install cutting to my throat and pulling through. She's going to always be aiming for true target. In this case, it's a plastic blade. If it was actually made out of metal, even if it was aluminum and blunted for stage combat purposes, I probably wouldn't have her drag it across my neck until we were absolutely sure there were no burrs, and even then, we'd probably hold off on that. Right now, it's plastic, so we're using it for demonstration purposes. Let's angle a little bit this way so that they can see kind of what's happening. She fires that cut, it touches the neck, and it pulls through. So if she was just to kind of smoothly go through without pulling too hard, that's the idea. Back to what we were doing in the first week with the evasion, I can just step back. I can just step back as long as I'm moving my head. Maybe keeping my hands down so that they don't get cut either. I'm just moving. So when I say cut, or when Abra says 1, we're going to evade. So Abra says 1.
1.
Evade.
1.
Evade.
1.
Evade. Now notice how I'm going back and coming back in. I'm throwing my head, my feet are traveling a little bit, and then I'm pushing right off. We're going to add this in just a moment, just like we did during the first couple of times we've played with this technique. She fires the 1.
1.
And I evade. She fires the 1.
1.
I evade, and I'm coming right back in. Now, if she was to swing for angle 2 right after that, she fires the angle 1.
1.
I evade. She fires the angle 2. I'm going to block. I'm going to check if you're in performance land and you want to do it with your hand or with meat to bone, better than bone to bone, or if you're in Krav Maga self-defense land and you just want to shock them with that bursting sort of framed strike, you absolutely can. The options are yours. I'm going to check with that, and I'm going to go for that body shot that we were doing in the previous knife CQC lesson. So she fires the angle 1.
1.
I evade.
2.
I burst into my low body shot. I'm just cracking right in the ribs to kind of buckle her over, and I'm keeping this frame up. If she ends up going lower with it, I can always catch it. I can try and get something in there. I could wing it out like this if I needed to, but she started in the high plane, so 1, high plane. Alternatively, there's one more piece that I wanted to give you to the angle 1. Abra cuts to the angle 1. As I move, I can also parry.
1.
Now you got to work on your timing with that with your partner. If you just stand here and just do it, it's going to be really awkward. You should really move first, cover that line second, and if she does follow right up with, like, let's say an angle 6 or something, you're already there. So there's a little bit of an opportunity there. Just make sure that you don't go here and keep it out here so that she can slash you in the hand. So she fires her angle 1, I parry it off. She fires the angle 2, I frame and I strike. This happens simultaneously. Angle 1, evade,
2,
counter with that burst. So now we're going to go into our first disarm where her tip's pointed up like this. I can now return to sender. I am not the best at disarms. We want to host Guru Brian Stoops for a disarms workshop soon. We had that planned for May, then the world changed. But I'm going to do my best. I'm going to reach under, kind of figure 4, grab, and bring it in. So if you're having trouble with that, just try and grab your own wrist, act like you're holding a knife, and shove it in. Right into their tummy, and then pull it back out. Nice and dramatic. Take a step back. 1, evade,
2,
crash for that counter, grab up, turn in. Notice how, especially for the sake of choreography, I'm moving my body to shove that in there. I'm getting my nice God of War slow motion fatality sort of move. Again, I'm not an expert at this stuff. I'm not going to say that this is going to work in real life 100%. I think you've probably seen something similar to it before.
Yes, you're trying to go for that like.
Brian's got to clean me up on these.
Yes, I can explain it, but not right now.
Not right now, because you have a knife in your stomach. We're sure there's higher level Filipino martial artists out there than us that are probably going to see this and are going to think, it's not the best thing you can do. You're not necessarily doing it the best. But what I like is that regardless, I have some sort of control. If she tries to cut me from there, I can always bring it to my body. If she tries to reach it around or stab me in the leg, I can pull it here. I can headbutt, I can trip. I have options. At least I've got that blade control.
Yeah, and he's doing that by bringing it to his body. He's not leaving that space, because if he leaves that space, just leave that, I can come up and in.
So what I do is I bring it to my body, and then I use my body weight to return to center. If I can even pop my hip into it a little bit. And that's not like some Sistema thing. That's just my body is here, and I'm shoving a knife into her.
Yep.
If she gives me resist, then we're going to go into a different thing. So this is really more of a flowing technique than it is.
On that note, though,
yes,
if you are trying to fight somebody with a knife, we like to tenderize, right? So you can still.
She does the 1.
Yep.
I evade.
That's
tenderize 1.
Yep.
Fun thing that I could do next, I could uppercut, or I could throw an elbow, but I'm going to do the uppercut in this case. Snap down into the bicep, jam it in. So that is going to help me really get that return to sender. That's going to help for that tenderize. It's a very nice 87-11 style stacked uppercut. Jason Statham did a lot of them under 87-11 style choreography. That snap in, boom, brings it in. Eviscerate. Fatality. It's a really lame fatality, but...
Yeah.
Let's do one more little tweak to this. Abra's going to go into point, tip, down, point, down, point, down, point, down.
I'm going to stab you.
She's going to stab me with that psycho stab. We're still going to do the same move out of the way. Now, again, if I move it that far, it's going to come right back into me. So I can just move out of the way and slap it out of the way. If she doesn't follow that line to go into that stab, if she rechambers it for number 2, I can still follow that same burst. Or even if she just does the number 2, and I just go into that burst. I've neutralized the attack. I've done my first bit of tenderization. I could go into that uppercut again, but if I go into the figure 4, there's no sender to return. This is really not going to work the way that the other one did, because now the tip is pointing this way. So instead, we're just going to play with another choreographic option that you have. Abra fires the angle 2, I go to that low line, and then I strike over the high line, whether that's with a cross, or depending on how you want to choreograph it, or what situation you're in, or how tall your opponent is, an elbow. Once I get that, I'm going to go for the meat of the hand, bring it over, and get my strike. That was the ugliest grab I've ever done on that technique. Ugly grabs. Block, elbow. What am I doing wrong here?
You want the thumb.
Am I getting this?
Yeah,
this is
the
it.
thumb to go
Thumb on the top, back of the hand. And as I turn it, I move my body.
Yep.
And notice how, especially for choreography, I don't just stay crunched up here, but I move out of the way and I extend that arm. If I want to, I can get another return to center.
That's a fun one.
That's a fun one. That's kind of an odd and really mean one. But really what I'm going to do is what I'm going to do. What I'm going to do is what I did in the promo clip is I'm going to either use my forearm, or you can yell at me all you want, but I think it looks fun, a palm press. If it's a real sharp blade, probably don't do that.
Don't do that.
You can try and find the part where it's not sharp, like the grip, but it's probably not going to work. I just like having that shape in choreography.
The important thing is that he is pushing where the opening is on my grip.
I'm moving the blade out of her hand by breaking the grip from the pinky outward.
Let's maybe just show it to the camera a little close up, because these are tricky.
I frame, I hit, I come over, I grab with the meat of the thumb, I twist around, and if I want to do the forearm, I'm going to strike through like that and go for a chop to the neck, a nice little shuto, or an elbow, like in Keezy or FMA. I can hit the arm, I can hit the arm. Now the possibilities of murder are endless.
It's not really murder, it's self-defense.
Self-defense murder. Again, rule number one in a knife fight is that if they come at you and you don't have the option to run away and grab something else and beat the ever-loving tar out of them, or just keep running, you need to get out of the situation as fast as you can. Yes, expect to get cut, band-aid for the funeral, etc., etc. These are concepts. I'm not teaching anybody how to go out into the street and defend themselves in a knife fight. There's no such thing as a knife fight unless I have a knife and Abra has a knife and we both go. It's a knife attack. Abra is attacking me because she doesn't like me.
But for stuff to do with knife fights and knife defenses, Tom Sotis of Amok.
This is a good guy to go to for sure.
Yes, he is.
We have lots of teachers of knife play that we really like training under, and Tom is definitely a great one.
Yes.
So, just to break it down one last time, if she's doing it with the tip up, I evade and I can pass. She comes back, I can hit that body shot. I can go under with a tenderize, clap down, return to sender, pull it out if I want to get really stylistic, and then do
Something.
stab, 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 stab. One more time with that, and I won't do the ridiculous over-the-top ending.
1 and 2.
1 and 2. 1, 2, uppercut, return to sender, pull out, push away. Nice little John Wick sort of execution move. If she's got the point tipped down, I can still parry it out of the way. If she comes back up to the high line, I can still do the same thing. Now I'm going to come up and over. I need to get this hand on top, not underneath. If it was underneath, then I guess I could do something like this, but that doesn't really solve a lot of problems.
But you could, if you get control there, yeah.
I'm going to put my thumb on the back of her hand, grab and turn both around, either do my return to sender here, or do my forearm to shuck it out and finish up with some sort of combination. So those are two fun little knife flows that you can do that I think are fun for choreography because they work a range-to-range mentality, countering back in with a crash and ending with a strip. You have your tenderizers in there, which always add fun extra beats to choreography, but also in a CQC sense, they keep you aware that if something isn't working, like a disarm or like a restraint, if you start hitting, you're going to at least try and open something up. You shouldn't stop hitting. I think at least JB would agree with that, with the JKD Unlimited style,
I mean,
hit them sort of mentality.
Same with Krav too. Like if somebody, like the best way to disarm somebody is if you have a weapon, stab them with your, or use your weapon on their hand, or stab them with a knife or hit their hand.
But if you don't have a weapon,
hit their hand.
Hit repeatedly, hit repeatedly, hit repeatedly until the threat goes away.
Don't try to muscle it. Like if you can't get the technique correct, don't try to like struggle for it. Start doing things.
Doing other things, because again, when it comes to our CQC training, rule number 1 is do something. And that's going to wrap it up for all the curriculum today, I believe.
I believe so.
Let's give ourselves a high five. Yeah, we're getting a little bit better at that. One more time. Ready? Yeah! You gotta jump faster than me. You're short. Ready? Yeah! All right, that felt better.
I know. That's what I'm worried about.
Oh man, how are we always right under that?
Because center.
All right, what time are we at, Brett?
7:55.
Wow, go us. We have 5 minutes left for Q&A. Let's bring the camera over, or the laptop over. I'm going to pick up my knife from SNR Tactical.
SNR Tactical!
So tactical. And now let's go into Q&A. So if our audience has any questions for us, we will be happy to answer them. Can you, yes, thank you, and make the screen full size, please? Not, sure, no, not that, the window. The window. The window.
Okay.
Make the window full size. What is it with Max? There should be a button that just maximizes the window.
I mean, yeah, okay.
That's what I want you to press. There we are. Oh, all that real estate. So who do we got in here? Geez, you guys make this look easy. Anthony, you're young. With enough practice, you'll make this look way better than both Opera and I can, because you start really young, you're going to get really good.
True.
I really like the building block principle. If you are working with a martial arts teacher that does not teach in building blocks, you're not going to get very far. Any teacher that's going to show you the cool move pattern without breaking it down is not helping you. They're just trying to show off. You have to take it apart and figure out what the individual pieces are. That's one reason why I deeply recommend Dr. Brian Stoops' curriculum, because by the time you get even to the intermediary belts, you understand how to travel from range to range, from broken down building blocks, whether that's your trapping or your kickboxing or your grappling, it all fits together because you learn piece by piece by piece.
Foundations.
Foundational martial arts, that's kind of how we refer to Dr. Brian Stoops and what he's given us. He's given us a lot of foundational martial arts from the Inasana lineage and many others to play with. Let's see here. Logan, my Wi-Fi was spotty this time around, but thank you for this. I'll be sure to watch the video version of this. Yes, you can find every video that is completed on here on Facebook Live, on YouTube, uploaded in 720p HD. And you can watch it after the fact. You can watch it anytime. We're going to keep those videos up
1 a.m.
for free. 1 a.m. We're going to keep those videos up for free, and we're going to be creating other content for people to have if we ever do create a paywall of some sort, if I ever get around to getting that Patreon up.
We're doing it soon.
We promise. Any other questions or comments about the curriculum tonight?
Criticisms, even.
Oh, yeah, throw the criticisms at us. Let's try and defend everything we don't
We have
know.
3 people in
We
here.
have 3 people in here. Well, I know we have 3 Eyes of Sauron. We might have more people.
There.
It's gone from like 10 to 6 to 2 to... It's been all over the place.
Well, any last comments or questions? We'd love to wrap this up and get this video done right around 8:05 at the latest.
Oh, we have another person.
We have another person that just popped in. They're
Welcome.
watching 2 people staring at a computer.
Yes, welcome to the end of our session. You can find the full session on YouTube tonight.
Yeah, it'll be
HD.
uploaded very shortly.
Okay, they went away.
Mana. Mana. I don't really know how it goes either.
I only really know the nomina.
Let's see here. JB Yeager joined. Oh, JB!
Yeager! We just
Sifu JB!
shouted you out.
Marilyn G.
Spider
Kundo!
senses were
JKG
tingling, I
Unlimited! Super Duper Sifu! Super Sifu Kami Guru. I am watching
We didn't
Naked.
need to know that. We did not need to know
That's
that.
never going to get out of my head. Well, this just got more depressing. All right, we're going to give everybody about 30 more seconds. If we don't see any new questions. Hi. Oh, hi, Stantastic.
Hi, fantastic.
Thank you for joining. We're glad you see it. We saw that you were liking some of the posts that we put out there. We're glad to have you aboard. We'll catch up in YouTube. Awesome.
Perfect.
Thank you. And please be sure that if you watch it on YouTube and you like what you see, hit the like button and leave a comment saying that you watched it and you enjoyed it. That'll really help us know that people are paying attention to the YouTube channel. We are hoping to build that mother up.
If you don't like it, please don't hit the thumbs down. Just move on.
I mean, you can hit the thumbs down. Engagement's engagement.
Yes, you can. We would ask that you.
But if you really like it, share it. And make sure to hit that bell and hit that subscribe. I'm a shill for the YouTube channels now.
For everything else.
Mana. I don't know what that means. Mana? I don't know what that means.
Okay.
Okay, JB. Mana to YouTube.
See.
All right, time for our last little bit of shout-outs. First of all, we would love to shout out our supporters that we've had in this very short amount of time. This is our 2nd week of training. This is day 14 of the morning routine, so it must be 2 weeks in.
Okay, fair enough.
And this is our 6th
Yes.
skill development session. We really appreciate everybody checking us out. We've had great donors helping us out, including Ryan Ho,
Yes.
Abby Monson, Wendy Renee Cade,
Under naked.
Aisha Gray
Who donated
twice. So thank you, Aisha.
Awesome.
And
Love you.
Victoria Lorenzo. I think it's Italian.
I'm assuming.
Yeah, and all those people were very lovely. They volunteered to give us some sort of funding. We've been buying equipment. We're trying to get better microphones. We're trying to keep increasing the sound quality so that the video is at the highest quality. We really are enjoying doing this. We also want to be able to produce better content outside of the live videos. So the more that you can help, the better. We're all dealing with the rent and the food situation here in New York City. We haven't yet gotten to the point where we're going to try and eat Brett.
We can't. He is very valuable. He's the
very
most
valuable. We've got to eat Abra first. It's just the way it's got to be. She's got the most muscle on her.
Yeah, so I'm going to be too gamey for you.
But if you'd like to help us out, we do have that Venmo account. It's at DC Stunt Coalition, or if you'd like to message us for the information, hit us up. Finally, one big thing that you can do to help us, of course, sharing on the page, building up the community, that's a big help. One thing we'd love to ask for you to do, if you've got some time, is go onto the Facebook page, whether you're watching this on YouTube or in the video channel right now on Facebook, and go to the reviews, and if you'd like to give us 5 stars, that would be swell. Write a little bit about what you've learned from training with us, or write a little bit about how our video sessions are engaging for you, how you like being a part of this community. We really want to bolster our reviews on Facebook. Invite your friends to check it out. Let people know that this is a fun program to join in with. And let's keep going with it.
Yeah.
As much as you want, we're here for you. We are ready to do private lessons. If you'd like to call on Abra or I to do a virtual lesson through FaceTime, the phone, whatever, we're down to do that. We can talk about pricing, scheduling, and everything behind the scenes, of course. But between now and then, we're going to start wrapping it up before Brett has an aneurysm.
Which means right now.
Which means right now. So, thank you very much. This was Saga Live, Skill Development Session number 6. We're really glad to have you here, and we will see you tomorrow morning for my morning routine at 9 a.m., and you can join Abra for her hero conditioning at 1 p.m. We will see you with the next Skill Development Session next Tuesday night. Take care, and we'll see you later.